Just your average everyday trucker, keeping it real. I'm your host, Chris Blodgett, and you're listening to Real Talk Tuesday. This week's topic is going to be interesting types of scams. This is episode 123. Hey guys, welcome back. Actually debated on this week's last couple days. Debated on this week's Real Talk topic. There's actually a couple of different topics I could have talked about, but I was listening to one of the podcasts I'm listening to, which is the Crime Junkie. Which, if you look on the episode notes, I do have a couple of different podcasts that I recommend. I've got the links to those, either the names of the podcast if I don't know the website, or I'll have the name of the podcast as well as the website for that podcast. That way you guys can check it out. The one there's a handful of them that I really like, and bear with me. I'm actually one of the kind of a subtopic that I was thinking about including with this episode. Might talk a little bit about it, but not necessarily going to be, a full-on topic. But as I'm sure a lot of you might be aware or familiar, because maybe you guys work long, crazy hours, don't get enough sleep and rest and all that stuff as well. If that's you, I know how you feel, and I know you know how I feel, because it's just like, so let's say that recently I actually got sick, about halfway through my week this week. Literally woke up and had trouble sleeping that day, and the wife wanted to hang out, so we were hanging out, and of course I had that feeling you get when you're you're starting to come down with a cold. You can kind of feel it, like you got that, the feeling in like your head, your throat, your nose, whatever, and you got the feeling in your chest a little bit because you're getting congested, and like, crap. I worried a little bit because of the fact that I had trouble sleeping for 2 days or whatever, and it was like, oh man, I'm coming down with some shit. So been trying to hydrate, drink water, and trying to get enough sleep, or try to at least get as much sleep as I can. Because one of the things that anytime you're sick, but yeah, there's medications that help. Drinking water definitely helps, because your body needs to be hydrated to function properly. So if you're dehydrated, then you're more likely to get sick. But if you're not sleeping well enough, you're higher, you have a higher chance of getting sick as well, because you're basically just gonna, it's like when you're asleep, your body is literally repairing itself. So if you're not really getting, like a recuperative, like 6, 8, hours of sleep, like consecutively. Not the problem I have is I can get 6 or 8 or 9 or whatever hours of sleep, and a lot of days I'm okay, but I had a couple days this week where it's like I would go into what they call the REM sleep, where you basically you're in dream state. I would go into dream state and I would feel like you'd wake up thinking that it had been like 7 hours, because basically like, holy crap, like a lot just happened in the dream. I look at my watch and it's like hour and 45 minutes or 2 hours. I'm like, crap. So then I go back to sleep. Same thing, go back into dream sleep, wake up feeling like it's been quite a while. That's been another hour and a half to 2 hours. Like, it would do that at least 3 or 4 times before, waking up one more time and be like, well, I better go ahead and get up, but you just feel like crap because you haven't really slept all the way through. Like, you need to be able to stay asleep. And I know for a while I was on, like, one of the times I went in to do my my DOT physical, I had a sky high blood pressure. And so he put me on one med and told me take one of these before you go to bed, then take one in the morning when you get up, and come back and see me tomorrow, because he couldn't sign off on my med card until the blood pressure was where he wanted it to be. And I was like, all right. I had probably 4 or 5 days before my med card was technically expiring. And so I did what he said. I took one before bed that night. Got up the next day before work. Because I would commute between Nashville and Mount Juliet. And I would detour up to Madison, up to where my doctor was. And come in there, and basically, I would come in and he would bring me back in the office, put the blood pressure cuff on me, check it again. Still too high, so he literally prescribed me another med. Said take the first one and this one tonight, and then take this new one in the morning. And I was like, okay. And he said, then come back and see me on your way to work. All right. So I did it. Blood pressure was down a little bit, but it was still too high. So basically, he prescribed me a 3rd med, and with all 3, I came in the next day, and I was texting him. Basically, on my way in, I was messaging him going, I'm really worried because I literally expire in the next 48 hours. If it's still too high, I was like, I'm going to be temporarily put out of service because I won't have an active med card. He goes, no, what we'll do, because I need to get your blood pressure down, is I'll probably do like a temporary, like a 3-month, like a 90-day card. So that way you can still work. We would just then work with you to try to get your blood pressure in a normal range. I'm like, okay, I appreciate that, thank you. But I came in after taking those 3, and I was literally like at 118 over 90 or something. I was like, holy crap, I don't think I've ever been that low. So I was on those meds for probably like 2 years, and came in, did my DOT physical again. Then that, because that doctor would actually do 2 years, even though now my current one, or the current clinic I go to, because I no longer, that doctor I was seeing before no longer does, they no longer take insurance, which is kind of weird. Like, you gotta pay cash up front, and I guess you can then send it to your insurance, try to get reimbursed, and I'm like, that kind of sucks. So, but now I'm through the VA anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but now I gotta go through like a concentric clinic, which basically because I'm, because of my weight, because I'm sleep apnea, whatever, I can only get a 1-year card, which I was living it up whenever for those couple of I think I had 3 renewals, so it was like 6 years that I was able to go back to that previous doctor. Basically, he would get me set up with a 2-year card. I was like, this is awesome. That's why I like for my license, for instance. Like I think my license expires like 2031. So it's like I like that they give you a long time, so that way it's not like, hey, every year or two you gotta come in and renew it again. It's like, I'd rather have it be out quite a ways, but after getting it renewed, I think it's been probably about a year and a half back, I think. 'Cause I got it renewed, and then yeah, it's probably like a year and a half, 2 years. This is before I got established with the VA. I went in and got established with a disability doctor. Had him. This is when I got diagnosed with diabetes and all that stuff. Cause my vision had changed, and I kind of had a feeling that something was up. So I went in and talked to him. My last or previous doctor now, and one of the things we ran blood work and checked for diabetes, and then I mentioned to him that I know that at least two of the 3 blood pressure meds are diuretics. So like for those 2 years I was on them before seeing him, literally could not sleep fully 8 hours, whatever, without getting up every like hour and a half, and like you felt like you drank a gallon of water. You had to get up and like pee, and it just like it was rough. It wasn't like, hey, you gotta go a little bit. No, it's like, oh my god, did I drink like a gallon? I was like, the symptom, the signs when you look like you're well hydrated, because like basically your urine is clear, so, and yet that would be me all night long, and be like, I'm not drinking anything while I'm in bed, so why am I having to hit the bathroom so much? This really sucks. And I had I think at one point I'd come off of the blood pressure meds for a couple weeks to kind of like experiment to see, because hell, we went on vacation up in Kansas for it was like, we took like 9 days, like 8 or 9 days that we were staying in this fancy hotel, and every night that we were there, I was up probably at least 2 or 3 times going, hit the bathroom or whatever. It's like, man. So, I went off those meds for probably about a week, and I noticed that I was not having to get up quite as much. Hold on one sec, guys. It's like someone just trying to call me. I'm interested. Hold on one sec. So it was interesting. I'm not gonna be calling that number back. It's 418. I've done a couple of short runs. They came to Lebanon. They were surprised that when I showed up, they were like, "Oh, we were told only these 2 guys were over here." I'm like, "Okay, well." I was like, I came in and I checked in, and it showed that I was bringing 2 empties over to Lebanon. So here I am. Okay, hold on a second. He's like, "Oh, so I'm gonna." He's like, would you be willing to do a Chewy load, going from Chewy over to Murfreesboro? I'm like, yeah, sure. I was like, it's my day 6, so I don't care if I do a light night. One more week of doing, technically working on my Sunday. After next week, then it should be back to having Sunday, Monday off. And if that number that just tried to call me was like Murph or Nashville or somewhere around here, like Lebanon, Mount Juliet, whatever, I didn't even know they called, because I guess using my headset for this episode, it didn't chime in my ear. You were receiving a incoming call from blah blah blah. I just glanced down at the phone in the phone mount, and I was like, oh, I missed a call. That's interesting. But it was from Alabama. I'm like, so that tells me Huntsville is trying to call me for some reason. Like maybe they want to ask me if I'm willing to bring a load down there. And I'm like, I don't think so, because I'm probably still I would say I'm at least a half hour or so away from Nashville, because basically I ran a Chewy load over to Murph, and when I was on my way to Murph, Mount Juliet was called. They called and said, "Hey, would you be willing to run another Chewy load for us?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." So they grab a 53 empty, and I'm like, all right, cool. They're like, "We got you set up." So basically, I dropped that loaded trailer, grabbed a 53 empty, went back to Lebanon to Chewy, got that load picked up, got out to Murph again, and didn't have anything else to sign. So I called them and said, "Hey, I need to get back to Nashville. I brought in a loaded 53. Do you guys have anything going back to Nash? Or can you set me up with an empty going back?" So yeah, we'll get you set up. Just give it a couple minutes. All right, cool. And then I totally expected I was coming back with an empty, and I checked in, and there's a loaded pub that's going to Phoenix that they're sending me back to Nash with it. So just had to pause briefly, cough a couple times, clear my throat, drink some water, Gotta love when you're trying to get over a cold. It really sucks, especially when you have to work. It's like, I'd rather be home just chilling out, relaxing, whatever, but that'll be tonight. But so yeah, I got that second load over there. I picked up this loaded pup going to Phoenix. I'm dropping off at Nash, and then that Alabama number that just tried to call me. I don't know what about. The only thing I can think of is they're gonna be like, "Hey, chance you can bring wow, man, I'm just watching these cars ahead of me. And one car, I'm in the second from the right lane, because the right lane gets pretty rough where I'm at. It's 4 lanes. It's 4 lanes. I just watched the car go from the far left, go 2 lanes over, basically kind of cut me off, and then go up a little bit and cut the car off that I was coming up on, and then cut the car off that was beside him to be in the left lane. It's like no signal or anything, just 2 lanes, one lane. I'm like, wow, okay, dude. But yeah, the only thing I can think is that Alabama or Huntsville probably is calling, probably, "Hey, can you bring us such load down this way?" And it's a 2-hour round trip, or 2-hour each direction going to Huntsville. And I'm like, normally, like earlier in the night, like if they'd call and say, "Hey, do you want to run a load down here?" I'd be like, "Sure." Like 1 o'clock in the morning, "Yeah, sure." Be like 5 or 6 or 6:30 by the time I get back. Not a big deal. So at least 2 hours down, 2.5 hours, depending on if you run into any issues. And then, you gotta, especially if it's like a set of doubles, you gotta set it up. That's not too bad. The other night kind of sucked when I went down there, but right now, being that we're going on 4:30, it's like, it would easily be 8:30, 9 o'clock before I get done, and I'm like, technically today's, Sunday is supposed to be my first day off, which obviously I was working that day. Monday is supposed to be my second day off, and then coming back to work Tuesday, and here we are going into Monday morning. I'm like, if I have the choice, I would usually opt not to take a longer, round trip this late in the morning, because I'd rather get home earlier, have more of my day off to kind of chill out and stuff, So I would normally call them back, but so hell, I might not even check in on the app when I get back to Nash. I might go in the automated and see if there's anything assigned, so that way I can know for sure that nothing's been added to me when I get to Nash. Like, get there, like, "Oh yeah, it shows you going to Huntsville." Ah, man, I didn't agree with that. So, but oh yeah, so that's why they're, even though kind of rambled on that subtopic a little bit more than I wanted, but so the inspiration for the main topic, scams, interesting types of scams, comes from, I was listening to, I believe it was Crime Junkie, but they have, like, if you go to audiochuck.com, they have other podcasts. So basically, I'm like, I'm not gonna run out of content to listen to with these two lovely ladies that host Crime Junkie, because Ashley Flowers, the host of Crime Junkie, she has like these other podcasts she does. There's like Crime Junkie, apparently there's The Deck, there's the Deck Investigates, and then I think she has one that it's called So Supernatural. And I'm like, man, I was like, I'm not, and I know I'm getting towards the current episodes of Crime Junkie. I've been listening for a little bit. It started back in 2018, or that's when they started, I think. And I've been tuning in for probably the last two or 3 months. And I'm finally up to where I think about like the last couple months of 2024. Like I'm back. I think I'm the ones I'm currently at. I think it's like back in August 2024. So I'm almost to the point where I'm up to the current ones. And usually when you're really into like a podcast and you got a lot to catch up on, you can binge listen and it's pretty awesome. But then you get to where they're current, you gotta wait for the new episodes or whatever, which it's still it's okay, but you know, then you're like, all right, what do I do now? Like, what else do I listen to while I wait on the days that there's no episodes? But they tend to do episodes not just on Mondays for Crime Junkie, but then they'll jump in and do bonus episodes on like Thursday or Friday, playing like episodes from some of the other podcasts they do to kind of like advertise those podcasts. And, like, I'm like, that's cool. And they have a fan club that's like you can do like $5 a month and actually have access to bonus content. And I'm like, normally, I've never done anything like you know, paid to support a podcast. Even though, yes, I know I put that out there on the Blodger Show. If anybody wants to financially contribute or donate or help, whatever, you know, then, you know, blodgershow.com/support. But, you know, I might actually become a financial supporter here pretty soon, because it sounds like there's a lot of really great content they provide on their fan club portion of their Crime Junkie, you know, website and whatnot. So looking forward to that. I'm at it, you know, that because I'm like, man, I don't want to run out of content with it, because like this is like they do pretty awesome episodes, a lot of great content, a lot of very great educational material when it comes to like being safe and, you know, not becoming one of the statistics, you know, somebody that actually ends up disappearing or whatever, you know. So little stuff like, you know, hell, my wife and I made sure that she and I connected on an app called Life 360, which basically it shows your location, and there you can get like these little tracker tags that you can add to the app as well. You can put in like a car or add to your keys or stuff like that. So that way, if something happens and somebody goes missing, you can technically, you have a better chance of figuring out either where they currently are, if they have like their phone or the tracker tags, you know, their keys with them or something, or where their last location was. So that way you can give it to police. Hopefully you'll be able to track them down and get to them before something happens to them. But so little things like that, like if I go missing, file or something is one of the things that's on their website on crimejunkiepodcast.com. Little things like that is really check it out. You know, keep your family safe. Their motto is be weird, be rude, stay alive. You know, so but so I guess one of their bonus episodes was basically about people trying to scam, you know, by messaging you acting like they're part of a certain company. And then so somebody messaged, I guess somebody emailed them and asked them, I guess because they were receiving an email saying that, hey, congratulations, like you've been selected for like Audio Chuck is gonna be doing this Facebook Live event, and you're gonna be interviewed on there, and you know we're gonna actually, like, there's things that we're gonna do. We're gonna help you do during the Facebook Live, so that way we can monetize it and can actually make money from the interview as well. And she was like, oh wow, and this is a reporter, somebody that actually, you know, goes and reports stories, you know, reports the different news stories that she investigates or whatever. And so she's like, oh man, that sounds really awesome. And like she got on this lady got onto a Zoom call with this guy, but the guy wouldn't show his face. Like, he had just a Facebook image on the Zoom. Wanted her to give him, like, to change some settings, like share her screen with him and give him access to her account so he could help her change the settings or whatever. Basically, it's like, oh, red flag. And but she didn't have access to her account at the moment because she had an issue with Facebook, so of course she wasn't able to do it. And he's like, okay, that's no problem. Yeah, we'll just, like, we'll connect. Like, we'll get back on another Zoom call in a couple days or whatever, and, next week or whatever. I'll help you figure this out. And so she ended up reaching out to Ashley and Britt, with Crime Junkie, with the audio chuck, and basically was like, hey, have you guys, is this real? Did I really get contacted by someone with your company? And they were like, no, we don't have any kind of Facebook Live event going on, and she's like, I kind of figured. The lady had a feeling that it was a scam. The guy was trying to scam her, get access to her account, whatever. But, she wanted to verify it, of course. So, of course, then she got back on a call with the guy, and, and she ended up trying to, like, call him out, try to ask him, like, you're not really from Audio Chuck, I talked to Ashley directly, blah, 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 and he would still try to double down. No, I don't know why they would say that, but next call we get on, I'm going to have Ashley Flowers on here, too, and she'll tell you, blah, 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 but then she never ended up touching base with him again. And there was another scam that they talked about, where this guy, I guess he was a musician, and so I guess it was during COVID, and he got a message, or he came across, I guess he got emailed or something about this opportunity, his job opportunity, and it had pay mentioned, and the pay was pretty good, and everything. The company was a real company that was listed on the email, and they basically he reached out and applied, and he heard back, and basically, like, sounded like everything they were telling him sounded basically on board. Like, there were no really, like, there's one or two red flags that jumped out, but he said it wasn't enough for him to really think it was a scam. And the people he talked to said they wanted him to buy the equipment that he would need, but they would send him a check to cover it. So he said, well, that's that's why it's one reason why I didn't really think too much about it. Didn't necessarily think it was a scam just yet, because they weren't asking me to use my own money to pay. But when he got the check from the company, he noticed there was a few things that jumped out at him, like the numbers looked a little bit odd on the check, and it the coloring was a little bit off. It just looked a little bit different. And of course, like, he said he did end up trying to deposit the check initially, but then when he started to research a little bit, pardon me, when he did try to research a little bit after he deposited the check, and he said, like, after a couple days he didn't see anything happening with his account yet, and he was starting to get worried. And he started to research, and basically, I think he ended up reaching out to the actual, like, he found another number for the actual company, and he reached out to them, and they basically told him, no, we're not actually hiring for that position. And he was like, man. So he's like, yeah, so I was 100% certain that whoever I was talking to was basically trying to scam me or whatever. So he reached out to his bank, and he informed them that check was probably fraudulent, and he had his account closed so that he would hopefully have any issues. And I'm like, I would have just reported the check, fraudulent, or cancel it or something, and that way, or at least because basically with something like that, And I've actually had experience with that too. But you'll get a check from somebody claiming, hey, here's this opportunity. Here's the check. We're gonna cover the such and such amount or whatever. All we want you to do is you deposit the check and then withdraw money when it clears. And we need you to send us X amount from that check. Like we're gonna send you that what we're paying you plus extra. We need you to deposit it, take out this amount, and that amount's gonna pay. So my experience was something like that. And if you've had experience like this, feel free to drop me a line. blogtheshowpodcast@gmail.com. I was kind of amazed when my wife and I kind of went through this, because I had seen an advertisement for, I think it was like Dr. Pepper or something. It was like basically wrap your car with the advertisements, get paid. You know, like we'll pay you. I think it was like $1,000 to wrap your car, with our advertising, whatever. And then you'll make like residual like $500 a month just for having your car be like a billboard kind of. I was like, huh, okay. And I reached out and I, got more information. And they're like, yeah, this is what happens and blah, blah, blah. And, and they kind of explained that, we actually, first we're going to pay you in advance. We actually send you a $1,500 check. 1,000 of it is yours to keep. 500 is for the installation, of the advertising on your car. And so what we do, you deposit the check and then take out the 500, and that's to pay the for the company that's going to come out and actually install it on your vehicle. I'm like, okay. I had never experienced anything like that, so of course I didn't think anything of it. I was like, okay, yeah, it makes sense. Of course, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking why can't there was a little bit of I wonder why they don't just pay this other company themselves. Like, why do we have to do it? But both me and the wife technically went through the same link, and the same application, whatever. And so basically, I got a check for $1,500. My wife got a check for $1,500, and it was through a legit bank. Like it was like Chase Bank or something. One of the banks that you actually know. It's like a name brand, like a chain bank. And apologies. It's one of the things where you're trying to stay up to date. Not slack off just because you're sick. Try to keep current. Still get the episodes recorded. I had to pause for a second to sip on some water and blow my nose really quick. And just, man, I don't know about you guys, but I hate being sick. But still out here working and doing what I gotta do. But so we both got this $1,500 check. So we had $3,000 in checks that we literally both, my wife and I were like, we had questions, but we were like, we really hope this is real. We really hope this is legit, because that even with paying the $500 to have it installed, that's still $2,000 that we literally have available right now. So we're, and of course the lady that we were talking, or I say lady, but I don't know. Could have been a guy. But it was probably a guy that we were communicating with, and we just had a name listed, making it appear that it was some chick we were talking to. They were like, "Oh yeah, go ahead, get that deposited." And that way we can, once it clears, just get the money out, and that way you're able to pay. We can get the stuff installed. You can start making money. And we're like, okay, cool, yeah, we're working on it. And we went to the bank, and we tried to do the first thing that kind of jumped out at us after, as far as trying to deposit the check. With technology nowadays, the ATMs, they're pretty good at if you deposit a legit check, it's like they can scan the numbers, scan the check, and kind of they'll know if it's a real check. because we've never had it, like, we've always deposited I've deposited checks in person, and I've deposited checks through the ATM, and usually, you know, depending on who you're with, like when it was US Bank, they usually get like up to like 200 available from that check instantly, and then the rest within like a day or two. But when we try to deposit those checks, literally we put it in the whole, you know, we're like, we put the amount in, we inserted the check, and it literally said check not accepted, or invalid check, or, you know, could I verify, or whatever. Spit the check back out. We're like, huh, interesting. I was like, well, crap, you know, these checks are probably fraudulent, you know. And of course the person's still texting me or whatever, or messaging me from the, I think it was a text message, I don't remember, but messaging me somehow through like email, text message, whatever, and basically be like, have you been able to cash the check yet? Like, do you have the money? And I'm like, we tried, but the bank won't accept it. And they're like, no, you gotta just deposit it, just cash it, get the cash out. And I was like, ma'am, I can't get money for you if the bank won't take the check. Like, if they won't put it in our account and let us cash it, there's nothing I can do. And of course, they still kept trying, oh, I just gotta take it in there. What about taking it to a check cashing place? And I'm like, we actually did try to do that. We took it to like Advanced Financial, which no longer does. They don't do check cashing anymore. And because they try to call to verify, and so we took it to there. They tried to call and verify the legitimacy of the check, and they couldn't get through to anybody at the bank. Because I guess when we went in there, the check was technically, or I think it was after hours, like banks were technically closed. Like, yeah, we can't reach anybody, so we can't actually verify it, so we're unable to cash it. Like, okay. But if it's during hours, and you know, banks are still open, and you have a legit check, then you can take a check in there, they'll verify it and do it. So couldn't do it through the bank, couldn't do it through Advanced Financial, so we were like, we couldn't do it through the ATM, so we waited until the next day. We took the checks in there to talk to a teller, and we asked them, we're like, is there a way to know for sure that these checks are bad, like they're fraudulent? He goes, there's really no way to know 100%, like we just literally, all you can do is deposit them, and then wait and see. And he goes, when the money will technically hit your account within a day or two, but then what you want to do is you don't want to spend any of that money, because it takes like a week and a half for them to verify that check is not a good check, and then basically those funds get debited back out, because so basically if you spend that, basically what they do, they send you these checks, you deposit them, you temporarily get the money in your account, you take out the money to pay them for whatever, and keep your profit, or keep your air quotes, quote unquote, profit. And then, they get their money, and within a week and a half, that check comes back invalid. Suddenly your bank account is negative, like however much you put in there. So in our case, we put two checks. We would have put two checks that were $1,500 each, and then we would have taken out the money and done what we had to do. And then all of a sudden, the checks would have come back valid, and we would be negative $3,000 in our account. And it was like, oh crap. So when he told us that, he goes, yeah, you just have to, basically all best we can do is deposit them, and basically give it a week and a half, and if they come back invalid, they'll just debit it out. And we basically handed them checks and, can you go ahead and shred these? He's like, yeah, absolutely. We're like, we're not going to go that route, because we're pretty sure these are valid, because the ATM wouldn't even take it. He goes, yeah, they're probably bad, because the ATM is pretty good at it'll accept it or deny it if it doesn't scan properly or whatever. And I'm like, it's kind of what we figured. So after we got rid of the checks, the lady that was texting was still messaging, going like, so any updates? Like, have you been able to do it? And we're like, yeah, we're no longer interested. We think this is a scam. And the bank, we had them shred, like the checks have been shredded. So, please, like, we no longer wish to be contacted. They're like, oh, we're so sorry to hear that. Yeah, this is legit. This is totally, whatever. You know, we're blocking your number of things. So, be careful out there, guys. Like, little things like getting fake checks in the mail, you know, and, oh, just deposit it, take out such and such money, you know, take out our fee. Like, why are you paying me extra to cover another expense that you guys could technically cover if you're a legit opportunity or company? And then people try to get in contact with you saying they're from a certain company, and you know, like with the audio chuck, supposed Facebook Live or whatever, and then this lady, she was grateful that she actually reached out directly to Audio Chuck, you know, to Ashley Flowers and Brent, to try to ask them, like, hey, did you guys have any management contact me? Do you guys have a Facebook Live event going on where you're going to interview? And they're like, no, we don't have anything on the books like that. And so if you question anything, if you get a like if you get you know, something like an offer like that, and it sounds, you know what they say, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And you know, search up the actual company that you think it's from, find a contact number to that company directly, not through not through whoever was messaging you himself, but actually try to go to that company's website. Like if it's somebody saying, "Oh, Pepsi, it's Pepsi, try to give you an advertisement, we'll pay you $5,000." Maybe go to Pepsi's website and try to call them directly and try to verify, like, "Hey, I'm getting this message from such, and this is what they're offering, and they're saying it's from you guys." They can tell you, like, "Yeah, we don't know anything about that." And then you can report the number and the email or whoever, you know, like turn it over to authorities, or you know, report it to the company that this individual at this address is trying to claim that they're you, and so that way they can hopefully take action against them. But that's why I love they're saying be weird, be rude, stay alive, because like you know, not just with scams in general like that, where you basically call them out like, look, this is a scam, you're full of shit. But you know, be careful when you're out and about. You know, like if you feel, or you know, I always like to say, trust your gut. You know, it's like, look at that, this real talk episode turning into me kind of leaning towards the true crime, you know, safety, whatever. You know, because it makes sense. Like a lot of people randomly just go missing. You know, it's like, trust your gut. If you're in an area that you feel a little bit, you know, uneasy, you know, then get out of that area as quick as you can. Because like, for instance, like I said earlier, I got my wife and myself on that Live 360 app or whatever, where it literally tracks your location. And like it's so precise. Like I can literally like I'll be at home, or hell, I'll be out here working, and I'll be at the customer, and I'll get a little pop-up saying, you know, my wife's name, and it'll be like, she departed from home. I'm like, oh, cool, all right. And it'll be like, she arrived at you know, the name of her the restaurant she works at. I'm like, oh, sweet. You know, and it'll show like if you're traveling by car because of how fast you're going, or it'll show that you're like when I brought it up to see if she's still at work or if she's on her way home, but it'll show that like it'll show little shoes on her image, like she's basically showing that she's walking around, and it'll show her at her work. I'm like, oh, she's still working. She must be working late. Okay, but you can check it at places too. And so like the other day I went to Huntsville, and by the time I was because I had to go to 2 different Huntsville locations, even though I've always thought it's just weird as hell the fact that there's 3 Huntsville terminals within a half mile of each other. 2 of them are on the same little street, and then one of them on that street you have to take a left and go down a different street, and then there's the bigger one. I don't get it, you know, but But I'm just a driver. What do I know? You know. But as I got close to having to go to one of the two Huntsville locations that I was going to, I was like, man, I'm like, my stomach was in knots, but I really have to hit the bathroom. The kind where you're like, yeah, I can't just find like go off in the woods with the bush. Nope, I need an actual bathroom. And so there's this little mom and pop truck stop that's like right next to one of the terminals. Like right before you turn down one of the street to go towards the FedEx hub. It's like on that main street before you take that turn. They got gas pumps out front, and they got like maybe like 3 diesel fuel lanes back. And I've noticed, I like from the road I can see the diesel pumps, and so I've always thought, I wonder if that place, if it would be a place that I could technically go into if I have to hit the bathroom or whatever, you know. I've never gone in there, but since Sunday morning, apologies, but like Sunday mornings, like when it's Saturday night and Sunday morning, a lot of the hubs, you can get in the gate and deliver and pick up, but you can't get in the building until I hit the bathroom because like nobody will be there, they'll be locked up. And so if you have to go to the bathroom, you're kind of screwed. So I, when I was getting close to making that delivery, dropping the first trailer, I was like, oh man, I really have to go. So I actually thought, you know what, I'm going to try to swing into that truck stop and see if it'll be a possible option for me to make, to hit their bathroom. And so I swung in there, and it was really tight because you got to pull in the front, and you technically swing around the gas pumps to go around back. And with 2 trailers behind me, I was worried when I pulled in. I'm like, I hope I can swing. I hope I can make it all the way around and get in and get out. So I pulled around. I pulled through one of the fuel pumps and stopped, and walked up to the door at the back of the building, which of course had a sign saying like after 10 o'clock you gotta enter through the front. I'm like, okay. So I walked around the back side of the building, and of course there's like 2 cars that were just parked there, and you can tell there's like at least 4 or 5 people in the car. The car didn't have the lights on. The car wasn't running. They were just sitting there. Just 5 people sitting in a car. And of course my first thought was, yeah, this is a good place to go missing at. Get like robbed or killed, or they just jump in and throw you in their trunk. So I thought I'm gonna walk around the other side of the building when I come back to the truck. And I walked up to the main door of the truck stop, this little mom and pop place. And of course, like on the side it said has to open manually. So of course, I walk up with the guy that's the cashier or whatever inside. He comes over and opens the door, and I'm like, can I use your bathroom? And he's like, yeah, I'm over there. Okay, cool, thanks. We didn't hit the bathroom, and before doing anything in there, I literally went on because I felt like as long as I can get back to the truck, I should be okay. But I was kind of a little bit on edge because I was like, I don't feel safe here. So I went on the Live 360 app, and I checked in at that location on the app, so that way should something happen and I just like my wife, kids just didn't hear from me again, like come to like midday the next day or whatever, they're like, is Dad still working? My wife could literally go on the app and be like, well, it shows the last location of this truck stop down in Huntsville. Like I think we need to call police. So thankfully, and of course when I walked around the other side of the building to go back to the truck, there were 2 other cars parked on the other side that were just kind of like revving their engines up and hanging out. I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'll come here again because this is just not it doesn't give you the, hey, that plus the fact that the guy working inside basically had the back door locked and it was manually letting people in the front door. That doesn't tell me it's a very safe area, to just be kind of hanging out in. Like, yeah, this is why I feel safe when I go in, when I'm dealing with like FedEx hubs, because like you scan your badge, to get in, and then of course like the gate will open for you, and and then it'll close behind you when you come in. So you're literally secured in a secure lot. So it's like, okay, cool. This is nice. Don't have to worry about somebody. That you're out there trying to hook to a trailer and stuff. Some random person that's hiding in the dark will just walk around the trailer and jump you. I've had those occasions where, because I don't know if for those of you who don't know what this is, I'm a geocacher. I haven't done it for a while. I used to do it all the time. I do it every so often, but it's geocaching. It's kind of one of those, kind of like a treasure hunt. It's like you go on the geocaching app, there'll be random, geocaches. They'll be hidden in certain areas, and of course it uses GPS coordinates to track them down. And each geocache usually has a little paper log, inside or hidden with it, that people, as they find it, they of course write their username and the date, or their username. They're kind of like code name or whatever they go by, and the date when they found it, and then they go on the app and they basically acknowledge they found the cache, or they didn't find it, and they put the DNF, which basically did not find. So when I was over the road, I would do the occasional geocache if I knew one was in the area wherever I was. And so I was going through this little back road area. I don't even remember where it was. Might have been in like West Virginia or something. But it was like a little backcountry, like 2-lane highway, woods on both sides, whatever. A couple of random like little truck pull-offs that you could pull off and park for a minute, that had like a picnic table and whatnot. Stuff you can pull off and be like, hey, okay, cool, I'm gonna, I'm sure trucks probably parked there for their 10-hour break, close the curtains, but I was like, it was so isolated that I wouldn't have done that, because, if I didn't feel safe where I parked, I had trouble sleeping. If you don't sleep, then you're tired while you're driving, so it's like, I made sure to try to get to like an actual name brand truck stop that had like a lot of parking or whatever, and you felt well lit, you didn't have to worry about it. So I pull into this apologies. I pull into this little pull off, and because basically on the app it said that, oh, there's a geocache like up in this app, in this little pull off, like 50 feet off to the right, and then it's like hanging, it's like, it said it was like not one of the mini ones, but a regular size one that had like a box or whatever at the base of a tree or something like that, or connected to a branch or something. It was a container that you could unscrew a lid. I was like, oh, cool, all right. I wonder if I can find this one. So I pull off and I park, and I get out of the truck and I walk around. I get out and I start to walk around the front of the truck to go towards where the little trail is, and I from my corner of my eye, I thought I saw somebody walk, at the back of the trailer, walk over behind the trailer towards the driver's side. And so I quickly went back over near the driver's side, and I saw a figure that I couldn't because it was getting dark, like darker at night. It wasn't dark, but it was like sunsetish, so like, not full light, but I came around to that side, and of course I saw a figure come around the back of the trailer and start to make their way up towards the front of the truck. And I got back in the truck, started the truck, and basically just took off so fast, because my first thought was, oh crap, I'm gonna die. Because this person, they weren't running towards me, but they came around the back, started walking towards me in the front. I was like, oh crap, I'm out of here. Who knows? that might have been a moment when I might have witnessed, because I didn't get the, hey, this person just wants to, hey, how you doing, sir? I got the, hey, this person probably doesn't, probably doesn't have any positive intentions for me. So, gotta be safe out there, guys. Gotta be safe. So yeah, not quite. It's not quite like scams as far as the talking about the geocache and the safety stuff. It's all kind of tied together because you want to be, obviously we want to be safe. You don't want to get your information stolen. And gotta trust your gut. So if something tells you that it's a little bit off, then it probably is. Should do more research and check into it. But also, like I said, trust your gut. If you feel like you're in an area where you just you feel like it's not safe, like something like just not feeling this, I don't know, then just change it. Just like get out of there. There's a couple life rules that the Crime Junkie podcast always talks about. And I figured I'd go ahead and share them here with you guys because part of me doing this podcast is to share value with you guys. Because I know I have a handful of listeners that tune in on the regular. I really appreciate you guys. If you like what you hear, feel free to tell others about it. Like and follow, tell your friends. It's how this podcast will be able to continue growing. So I just want to say I appreciate you guys, but want to give you guys value and be there for you because I know you guys are there for me. So, but some of the life rules for what the like the Crime Junkie girls always share is basically like if you have a secret, tell somebody. If you're going somewhere, let somebody know where you're going. If you go to a party with somebody, if you go with somebody somewhere to like get together, whatever, leave. Like if you go together, leave together. Like don't, go together and then have one of you, I'm gonna leave with this other person that I met. And nope, don't do it. Because that other person might be okay, or they might, you might disappear, just never show up again, and basically then within the next 10, 15, whatever years, you got the podcast like Crime Junkie basically talking about your case and how like it's gone cold and like the police have no idea, they have no suspects, whatever, you just never showed up again, they never found your body, whatever. So if you go somewhere with somebody, with a friend, leave with that same friend, stay together, let people know where you're going. That's why I love the Life 360 app, because like I want to get my kids connected too, so that way my whole family we can track each other. So if something happens to one of us, the rest of us can be like, well, they were over here at this point, and try to track down where we were last. And maybe, hopefully, because you know how they say that if somebody's missing more than, like, 48 hours or 72 hours, that the odds of finding them alive are pretty slim. So, it's always better to just be extra careful. Hell, like over the road, I'm sure my fellow truckers out there, dealing with quote unquote lot lizards. I had a couple of experiences out there on the road where I had a lot lizard, decent looking lot lizard. Sorry, I just gotta. Love when you get a message from somebody. Alrighty, sorry about that. When I pulled through a space, I had a truck that was parked there. It was kind of hanging out waiting. And I'm like, oh crap, I wonder if he's grabbing this trailer I just brought in for Phoenix here in Nashville. And so I disconnected and pulled away and kind of waited. And I noticed that the trailer beside me had a dolly in front of it. So when I waited, I saw he backed up to the dolly. I'm like, okay, he's waiting on the dolly. I'm like, you gonna grab the dolly beside me? Didn't have to wait for me. It's always fun on too when I'm like literally get a sneeze coming on. I pause for a second so that way I'm not like, you know, sneezing on the recording. So, but the important thing, guys, just to be safe, trust your guts. We have some good recommendations, including like if I go missing folder, recommendation on the audio chuck. Actually, I believe it's crimejunkiepodcast.com. They have recommendations and stuff for things to do, things to set up, so that way, if you happen to go missing, your family knows what to do, and they might have a better chance at being able to find you, and be able to track you down and figure out what happened to you, and maybe hopefully be able to get you back. You know. So, but little things though, like at the very least, get you, your spouse, your kids, whatever, on the Life 360 app or some kind of app to where you can literally see where each other are at. You know, because hey, you know, can't hurt. If somebody goes missing in your family and you have no way to track them, then you're basically just like, well, I don't know where they were. I just haven't heard back from them for like a couple months, for like 2 weeks now. I just don't know. They're like, well, okay, we'll put a missing person notice out there, but we really have nothing to go off of. We don't know where they were last. Blah, blah, blah. So, you know, it's all about trying to make sure that you're safe or whatever. Just like people that talk about like, oh, I had somebody that was walking behind me, following me, whatever, and I just, you know, they were acting really weird, but I didn't want to be rude. And it's like Ashley and Brent on the Crime Junkie podcast, literally that's why their motto is be weird, be rude, stay alive. Because if somebody is acting kind of creepy around you, it's okay to basically turn around like, look, leave me alone. You know, like you literally tell them off, like, look, like you're making me uncomfortable, go away. You know, they're like, oh, okay. You know, or you piss them off, but hey, you know, if you tell them that you see them following you, go away, leave me alone, I'm gonna call the cops. They bolt it because, oh crap, I don't want to go to jail. So, you know, just stay safe out there. You know, that's why, you know, the buddy system is always good too. You know, if you're gonna go out in public or whatever, go out with somebody so that way you guys can keep, you know, be accountable for each other. You know, so. But anyway, on that note, I hope you guys found value in this week's Real Talk episode. Try to think of a good topic to discuss. You know, make it interesting for you guys. But as always, I'm gonna update the notes in the podcast on the episode notes. Because of the fact that now I know they have at least 4 podcasts with Audio Chuck that Ashley and Britt do. Now I'm like, man, I'm going to have to, some of the episodes they played for bonus episodes for when I'm listening to the Crime Junkie, for these other episodes or other podcasts they do. I'm like, man, that's actually really good. I'm going to have to really tune into to pretty much all their different shows they do. And so I might end up just be like, hey, to check out everything they do, go to audiochuck.com. Because they have 4 or 5 different podcasts they do. Go check it out over here, blah, blah, blah. Like, okay. So, you know, got them. We got, what was that like with Scott Johnson? We got, Alien Nation in the Basement. Or Alien Nation in the Basement is my bro Ricco's podcast. Go to blogitshow.com/Ricco, RICCO. Have a few other things that you know, there are links on the thing as well. Anybody that wants to learn digital marketing, go to blogitshow.com/freedom. Anybody, if you want to learn cooking skills, I got a digital course for that as well. Go to blogitshow.com/masterchef. And anybody that wants to support the show, go to, almost sound like I said with an SH, like support the show. I'm like, this is me trying to, I'm not at 100% capacity because of freaking fighting off this this cold. The number of times I've had to pause this recording to either sneeze, blow my nose, take a drink of water because my throat was all scratchy, you know. But I'm here, you know, this is me making sure that I'm here doing what I gotta do, bringing you guys these episodes every week. I'm trying my best not to, because I know I've had periods in the past where I went like 1 or 2 weeks where I didn't get any episodes recorded. And I know, yes, I'm behind on the Storytime Friday segment. Haven't done that in a little bit. Mainly lately, the past 2 months, and because of being through the holiday season, I just haven't had time. Like, I feel like I really only have like half a day off. I work my Sunday, which is normally a day off, and then I basically work until Monday morning, and then I go to sleep. I usually only get like 5 or 6 hours of sleep because I don't want to sleep too late on Monday, because I want to actually, try to enjoy at least part of my Monday off before coming back to work Tuesday. So I'm hoping when I go back to having Sunday off and Monday off, and then come back to work Tuesday, that I'll be able to find time to start sitting down and knocking out some stories for you guys. So that way I can come back on Fridays again and have some story time segments for you. And also that'll be awesome, growing the volumes, the actual books I'm going to be publishing, the Storytime Friday short stories volume. Right now I've got volume 1, and working on, I got 1 story in volume 2. So, that one, as I complete them, those are going to get published to where people, anybody that wants a physical copy, they can actually buy the different volumes. It'll have a handful of the short stories that have been told in this podcast, as well as a novel that I'm currently working on as well. It's like 2/3 of the way complete. So, got big plans in the works for things that are going to hopefully open up doors for me and make it to where I might not have to work quite as hard, because I'll be doing other stuff, other things other streams of income to kind of make it possible for me not to have to necessarily drive until I'm 65. But anyway, guys, yeah, so things will get better. I know that I've been pretty able to keep going with these real talk episodes, but eventually, maybe within the next couple weeks, might be a little bit longer, but I will get back to having stories every Friday as well. And I even plan to see what I can do as far as these real talk episodes. See if I can maybe start doing interviews, like go back, like conversations with like either friends or family or whatever, where we just go back and forth and shoot the shit or whatever, and have an interesting episode for you guys like that, and talk about some kind of topic that we could have 2 perspectives instead of just me talking about something, So on that note, once again, guys, I just want to say really appreciate you hanging out with me tonight. For those of you who've been with me since the beginning, I really appreciate you. If you're new, feel free to go back to the beginning and binge listen all the way through. You don't have to, of course. If you do, though, I'll warn you that back when I first started, obviously it didn't sound the greatest. I've kind of come a long way since then. I've kind of learned some tricks and whatever, like with the background music and the sound effects. Making the episodes sound a lot better. So just giving you a heads up, if you go back and listen back from the earlier episodes, probably at least through the first 15 to 20, I think. At least the first 10 were pretty rough, and then probably by the 20th episode, I was things were a lot better, and then definitely by the 30th, I think I had the, got the sound effects, the background music figured out, and stuff like that. So things have evolved quite a bit. So, anyway, guys, I really appreciate you. Keep, what I always say, keep pushing forward, keep believing. Believe you can, believe you will, and you're already halfway there, and then you just have to go out there and do it. And I want to apologize, mainly just for how I sound, because, obviously I'm not doing that great, but thankfully, literally I'm just parked here at the hub, getting ready to go ahead and go swap out my personal vehicle for the work truck, and basically, head out, head home and go ahead. That's why I'm deliberately not calling back that number from Huntsville, because I'm like, the only reason why that I could think they'd be calling me is, hey, can you run a load for us? I'd rather not. Like, it's 5 a.m. That means it'd be like 7 before I get down there, and then 9 before I get back here. I'm like, no. I think I'll pass things. Unless they were, you know, the load I was bringing over here, unless they're wanting me to instead bring that to Merv, or bring that load to Huntsville instead of Nashville. But I'm like, I don't know. That could have been a possibility too, them wanting me to take that load instead of bringing it here, bring it to Huntsville. I'm like, yeah, but that's like, I mean, I don't know if that's in the right direction, or, you know, because technically it's not in the wrong direction, just be going like 120 miles south instead of over here to Nashville, to then go to Phoenix, which, you know, it's like west or whatever. So I don't know. I didn't call him back to find out, so I'm like, nope. They didn't leave a message, so who knows? Who knows? But anyway, y'all, keep being awesome. Keep doing what you gotta do. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. And I will talk to you on the next episode. Have a good one.